Good morning, Enid. It's good to see you again. Welcome. It's Thursday, July 19th. We're in line for a rather warm day today. They're guessing and estimating a high of 105 degrees today, so get ready for that. We're glad you're here. We're live streaming around the globe here at enidtv.org and also coming to you live this morning on local cable channel 12 and 112 in Enid, Oklahoma. Encourage you to grab a cup of coffee or whatever it takes for you to wake up this morning. Join us for the next 30 minutes because we've got news, weather, sports, and we'll be talking about a very important topic in Alzheimer's, an event coming up real soon. That's all within the first 30 minutes here this morning. So this is Good Morning, Enid. Everyone, it's time to rise and shine.
Good morning, Enid. Thanks again for joining us today. As Steve said, it's going to be a hot one. Right now it's not too bad, only 73 degrees, but today it's going to get to a high of 105 and tonight's low is 77. It's going to be very hot and there's a heat advisory in effect until tomorrow night at 7 p.m. The winds are about 5 to 15 miles an hour out of the southeastern side, but it's going to be very hot and sunny. So definitely stay hydrated today.
Drink plenty of water.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I don't even want to talk about the weekend.
The heat's already impacted Sarah this morning, so just, so what's the 3-day forecast look like?
Well,
it's got to be great.
Yes,
what is it, 120, 130, what is it?
It's definitely going to be a hot one. I don't know if you guys mentioned it already this morning, but it's definitely summer, as you can see. It's going to be pretty hot. We're going to be in the 3 digits both Friday and Sunday, so just try to stay cool with whatever you do or try to stay indoors.
Friday looks kind of brutal.
Yes,
but again, other parts of
definitely.
Oklahoma are supposed to be even warmer. So remember that, Sarah.
Right.
It could be miserable here on Friday, but it's going to be miserable more in other parts of the state.
Right.
Well, we have a new weather feature we want to show this morning. On this day in history, you know, we typically have our state weather temps at this time, but Penn has put together for us this graphic. So we want to do that here in the next several weeks, kind of on this day in history. It became, the record high back in 1936, 112 degrees, as you can see, and then a very pleasant 61. That goes way back to 1908. So on this day, July 19, those were the temperature extremes, and then you can see the norms. The norm for July on this date is 94, or for the month is 94, and barely 2 inches plus rain. So, Penn, thank you for putting that in place. And to help Sarah out, we have some summer safety tips, and we may be able to put those on the screen for you in just a few moments. As Aaron said, 105 today, heat index is off the scale. Keep the kids out of the car. Keep your pets out of the car. Drink a lot of water today if you're mowing the yard or just working. But look how, things warm up. So this is one of those days you kick in a lot of common sense. Find the shade and don't leave anything in your car, even briefcases or anything. It's going to be hot. So, well, it's 7:33 on this July 19, and 2 weeks from today is
August.
August. Very good, Aaron. Ready, Aaron?
Ready or not,
Ready or
it'll
not,
be
yeah,
August.
in 2 weeks, it's August. It's moving quick. Okay, let's find out what happened with the news overnight. Maybe a little sports, but we always turn to one guy. He's in purple today. He's the bow tie guy, Derek Silas, and he has the Oklahoma Minute.
In international news, the European Union ruled Wednesday that Google must pay $5 billion for stifling competition in the mobile app market. And South Africans celebrated the 100th anniversary of the late anti-apartheid leader Nelson Mandela's birth with ceremonies, speeches, and acts of service. In national news, part of Grand Teton National Park near Yellowstone supervolcano has been closed in several areas to tourists due to expanding cracks and fissures as a safety precaution. And Walter Carr, a dedicated worker who is also an Alabama college student, receives his boss's car after his boss, who is also the CEO, heard about him walking 20 miles in the dark to work. In sports, Tuesday was the All-Star baseball game. The American League gets a win 8-6 over the National League in 10 innings. The game also had a record 10 home runs hit. And the 147th British Open has already begun today in Scotland with round 1. Round 2, 3, and 4 will continue Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. You can watch it on NBC and the Golf Channel. The Big 12 media days have begun, with OU Sooners being predicted as the clear-cut front-runner team this year. Their major in-state rival, OSU, is preparing for the season as head coach Gundy names Taylor Cornelius as the probable starter for the beginning of the season. And on this day in history, in 1943, during World War II, as Hitler lectures the Italian leader to pursue the war further, America bombs Rome in an attempt to break the will of the Italian people to resist. And that's the Oklahoma Minute.
Thank you very much for all that information, Derek. We do want to go ahead.
Wealth of information.
Yes, yes. We do want to take a moment to remind you, if you guys have any pictures, comments, questions, anything you'd like to share, our hosting cows are always there waiting to hear from you. You can email them at gme@enid.org, and we'll be glad to share them here on the show. Today, we actually do have a picture for you. This is our new Cornell, Corey Simmons. We just want to say welcome, new commander. And like I said, the name is Corey Simmons. So we do have that for you today. Another thing is, if you're looking for something to do this hot weekend, we always look to Aaron for some fun
Cooler
activities and cooler activities to do this weekend. So here is Aaron with what's happening.
Thanks, Sarah. As Sarah said, it's going to be a really hot one, so definitely looking for things to do inside. So starting us off is the Gaslight Theater presents Young Frankenstein. This runs Friday through Sunday this week, 8 p.m. on Friday and Saturday, and 2 p.m. on Sunday. It's not quite like the regular Frankenstein that most of you know if you've read Mary Shelley or seen any other movies, but this one is it is a horror comedy, an adaptation of Mel Brooks' film. It is about a descendant of Dr. Victor Frankenstein named Frederick, who continues his grandfather's work. Tickets are $15 for adults, $12 for military, and $8 for students. And it definitely is going to be a funny film, so definitely go check this out. It'll be cooler inside, hopefully. And then on Friday night, there is a speed painting contest, which I did not know what a speed painting contest is. So for anyone who does not know what it is, artists come around and paint the best painting they can in 20 minutes. And you're allowed to watch for free and see how these painters do their best work in this short amount of time. Afterwards, there's a silent auction where you can purchase these paintings and meet with all of the artists there. And if you want to paint in it, there is 2 different categories, one for adults and one for kids. It's $20 to paint. You can bring your own supplies, but the canvas is supplied for you. So it's definitely fun. I've never seen anyone paint as quickly as they can, so it would definitely be an interesting event, and also indoors because it is at the Oakwood Mall at the Enid Art Association. And finally, there is the Vance Air Force Base Summer Roundup and Cruise and Brews on Saturday. It starts at 8 a.m. with a fitness 5K, and there's free swimming, free bowling, 2 free movies. There will be a DJ later that night with beer tasting. There will be local performers, a mechanical bull, train rides, petting zoo, bounce house. There is so much going on this day. I mean, you can't really see the schedule up there, but if you want to go look up at the Vance Air Force Base website, you can read every single event that is going on. There will be line dancing, and Ryan Daniels Country Band will be playing. And later that night, there will be fireworks, raffle prizes, and food. And of course, the Cruise and Brews. There will be a car show going on at 5:30. The judging begins. So definitely go check this out if you want a fun event. It is outdoors, so you must stay hydrated, but it'll be really fun. And there is swimming, so there's that too. And that's what's happening this weekend.
Yes, the splash pads, and we'll talk about splash pads later on, but pool and splash pads are going. Great job, Aaron. One event that's going to take place that Aaron will talk about in a couple of weeks, but on August 3rd, the Walk to End Alzheimer's is going to be a big event in Enid. And this is one of the shirts we'll talk about in just a few moments, how you can be awarded one of these T-shirts as our special guest this morning. It's 7:39, and as we've been telling you, hot High today is going to be around 105 degrees, so dress accordingly and react accordingly. Please drink plenty of fluids, if you will. We have a video we want to show you now in regards to Alzheimer's, then we'll bring our special guest on. You're watching Good Morning Enid. It is 7:40 on this Thursday, July 19th. We'll be right back. Good morning, Enid. It's 7:49 on this Thursday morning. Again, thank you for joining us for show number 178. We've been bringing you live television here in Enid, Oklahoma, and around the globe for all of our friends at different bases across the country, and we welcome them as well. As I mentioned earlier and showed the T-shirt walk to end Alzheimer's, that's coming up on August 3rd. We'll talk more about that in just a moment. But you saw in the video some of the just staggering statistics in regard to Alzheimer, and I have some other information I want to share with you before we get to our special guest regarding Alzheimer's in the United States. Sixth leading cause of death in the U.S. Excuse me. 1 in 10 Americans over the age of 65 has Alzheimer's. More than 5 million Americans are living with Alzheimer's at this time. And now the time has been reduced. It's down to 65 seconds. Every 65 seconds, someone within the United States develops Alzheimer's. And we saw the number 1 in 3 seniors die with some form of dementia. And 1/3 of Americans over 85 are afflicted with this illness. So that's a bunch of heavy news. And another statistic was the fact that Alzheimer's is the only disease in the 10 leading causes of death in the U.S. that cannot be cured, prevented, or really even slowed down. So this is a very heavy thing, but to help us through this morning, we are just thrilled to have Paula Huckabaa with us.
Hi.
Paula, welcome.
Thank you.
Paula, her office is all over the state of Oklahoma that we've learned, and but she's here to talk about a big event that's coming up on August 3rd. So Paula, welcome to the Enid Television Network studios, and good morning to you.
Morning.
Good morning, Paula. Like Steve said, or like Steve highlighted, there's a lot of important points to this. And it's very important to always bring awareness. And this is, I think, one of the reasons why I love this topic this morning. We know that this event that you're planning is exactly for that, to bring awareness. So can you tell us a little bit about the Walk to End Alzheimer's of Northwest Oklahoma?
I can. It's like you said, it's on August 3rd. It's coming up very soon. And it is our signature fundraising event for the Alzheimer's Association. And I always say the walk does 3 things. It obviously raises funds for it to help us, and it spreads awareness, and it gives people who are affected by this disease a place to fight back.
Very good, very good. And you did mention it was in August 3rd. If somebody wants to be part of this walk, whether it's because they are hearing about it for the first time this morning or because they have someone that they know that suffers, or suffered from this. Can you tell us about how can we participate in this walk?
Yes, there are two ways that you can register for the walk. You can register online, and that is through nwokwalk.org, or they can come to the event, and at 6 o'clock we'll have a registration tent open, and they can just come and register there in person. But if you register at the website, there's the online component where you can link it through if you go through the participation center, you can link it up with your Facebook, and it will create a Facebook fundraising event, and then you can send an invitation to all of your friends and ask them to donate online, and it's very easy for them to do that.
Really cool. I actually was out there last year for this event. It wasn't planned. It was something that just sort of happened. And what caught my attention was two things. The purple, and I noticed these little flowers out there. I didn't know what the flowers actually represented, so I figured I'd ask you this morning.
Okay.
What do the flowers actually symbolize?
Well, our orange flower, and everyone who comes to the event and registers gets a flower. And the orange flower represents anyone who's affected or not affected personally by the disease but wants to see it cured. If you don't really have a personal connection, the orange flower is the flower that you can ask for. The yellow flower is for our caregivers. We are here for the caregivers. We really want to make their lives as easy as possible and help them be educated, because we know that there are 64,000 Oklahomans who have this disease, but there are over 200,000 caregivers. So there are a lot of caregivers in the state, and we want them to have their orange flower. Thank you. Thank you. Purple, I carry a purple flower. Purple is for folks like me who've lost someone to the disease. I lost my grandmother, Pauline Morrison, in May of 2006. So I carry the purple flower. And then those who actually have Alzheimer's or a form of dementia that are in the audience, whether it's Lewy bodies, Alzheimer's, Parkinson's, they would carry the blue flower.
Paula, the walk to end Alzheimer's and Enid is Friday, August 3rd. Here for Northwest Oklahoma, but there's probably events across the state. We were talking earlier about your offices from Southwest, Northwest Oklahoma, and Southeast Oklahoma. Are there other regional walks as well?
There
This is a big
are.
one for this part of the
Yes.
state. But
Yes, the Walk to End Alzheimer's of Northwest Oklahoma is here in Enid on August 3rd, and then on August 25th we have one in Lawton for Southwest Oklahoma, and November 3rd for Southeast Oklahoma, which will be in Ardmore, and then we have our two metro events in Oklahoma City and in Tulsa. The Tulsa Walk is in September, and Oklahoma City is in October.
And the easiest way, if someone is watching this from, say, Woodward, Enid, Billings, or whatever, and but they know someone in Tulsa, easiest way for them to find out these dates or remember these dates is go to the website? Or?
We do, and you can go to alz.org/walk and just type in your zip code, but you can also utilize, we have really easy links. The Northwest Walk is nwokwalk.org, and Southwest is swokwalk.org. Tulsa is tulsawalk.org. Oklahoma City is okcwalk.org, and Southeast Oklahoma is seokwalk.org. So we try to make it very easy for people to remember the websites.
Very good. I know earlier you talked about how this walk actually provides or does three different things for you, and one of those things is funding. Do you have any goals for this specific event? Can you tell us a little bit about that?
We do. Last year was our inaugural event in Enid, and our goal was $50,000, and we hit it. It was amazing. And this year our goal is $65,500. So we know we can hit that goal, and we're about just a scooch under halfway there right now as of today. So we're getting there.
All right, very good. And how? I guess obviously sponsors are the ones that make this possible. So can you tell us a little bit about what does it take to be a sponsor if somebody out there wants to actually sponsor this event?
Yes.
Tell us how.
We
how you can do that.
Now our shirts are in process, they're being sent, but you can still be a sponsor of the event. You just reach out to me, and every sponsor gets a booth space, and we provide a table and 2 chairs and a tablecloth, and then they're free to market their company or organization in that booth space. So just give me a holler. Our sponsorships range from $250 to $5,000. You can be the premier presenting sponsor, or you can be the event I can't speak today. It's early. Premier presenting sponsor for
It's
on the
the
local level. It's the
It's the
heat. It's
heat.
getting to me.
That heat,
But then of course Edward Jones is our national presenting sponsor. So we're
Our-
thankful for them.
Our very special guest today, this morning on Good Morning Enid, is Paula Huckabaa. We appreciate Paula being here at 7:50 on this Thursday morning. Paula, you mentioned that the inaugural event was last year, raised over $50,000. Can you tell, Enid is a giving community. They give to a variety of causes. Where did the funds go? How are those funds used? People say, I'll write a big check, but I want to know where it goes.
Want to know where it goes?
Yeah.
Well, the majority of the funds raised go toward fundraising. I'm not fundraising. I'm sorry, for research
Okay.
and for our programs and services. The Oklahoma Association, we have counselors that will come and they'll come to Enid and do a one-on-one counseling session. We want people to reach out to us and let us know that they want those services, and we do support group facilitating. It just helps us to sustain, and part of the money also goes to our national affiliation so that we can fund things like our 1-800 number that is manned 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. If someone at 2 o'clock in the morning, if their father is having a breakdown and they don't know what to do, they can call that number, and there's someone on the other end of that line who can help them, who can walk them through how to help calm him down, give them some tips and tricks to be able to diffuse that situation or whatever it may be. If they don't know when to put their loved one in assisted living or a nursing home, there's someone that can help you make that transition.
We'll have more with Paula in just a moment. We're going to talk a little bit how you can get a hold of one of these T-shirts, and a little bit more fundraising, and something about a cowbell. We'll talk about that here in just a minute. It's 7:51. Good morning, Enid, on this Thursday, July 19. Again, just to remind you, working our way to 105 pleasant degrees today. Well, in case you missed the news from earlier just this morning, we've got the Oklahoma Minute with Derek Silas, and let's go back to Derek, the bow tie guy.
Thank you, Steve. The European Union ruled Wednesday that Google must pay $5 billion for stifling competition in the mobile app market. And South Africans celebrated the 100th anniversary of late anti-apartheid leader Nelson Mandela's birth with ceremonies, speeches, and acts of service. In national news, part of Grand Teton National Park near Yellowstone supervolcano has been closed in several areas to tourists due to expanding cracks and fissures as a safety precaution. And Walter Carr, a dedicated worker, receives his boss's car after his boss heard about him walking 20 miles in the dark to work. In sports, Tuesday was the All-Star baseball game. American Leagues gets a win in 8-6 over the National League in 10 innings. And the 147th British Open begin already today in Scotland with round 1. Round 2, 3, and 4 will continue Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. It can be watched on NBC and the Golf Channel. Big 12 media days have begun with OU Sooners being predicted as the clear-cut front-runner team this year. Their major in-state rival, OSU, is preparing for the season as head coach Gundy names Taylor Cornelius as the probable starter for the beginning of the season. And on this day in history in 1943, World War II is going on, and America bombs Rome in an attempt to break the will of the Italian people to resist. And that's the Oklahoma Minute.
Very good, Derek. Thank you so much. We want to remind everybody, with all the heat and the typical late July weather going on, that both splash pads are open for most of the day, but they're open every day. None of the odd, even stuff. It's just every day. And of course, Champlain Pool is open, so we encourage people to visit the water parks and swimming pool. As you can see right there on your screen, 7 days a week. Best way to beat the heat is find some shade and also stay close to some water. So we got the pool and splash pads. As you're preparing for the weekend, Sarah's got the 3-day forecast for us to remind us how pleasant the weather's going to be.
Like you mentioned, Steve, definitely staying near some water this weekend will be the best thing to do. So those splash pads and that pool definitely sounds good. As you can see, the weather is going to be pretty hot. We're going to be in the 3 digits Friday and Sunday, and 99 on Saturday. So I don't know if 99 is any better than 100, but there it is.
There it is. That's it. So if you were able to stay with us at 8 o'clock this morning, we have Rick and Larry Simpsons. The symptoms, yeah. They do have symptoms. Rick and Larry Simpson. You try to say that really quick. Anyway, those characters will be joining us at 8 o'clock this morning. It's a fun time with them, so join us here on the Enid Television Network, Channel 12 and 112, to hear what those characters have to say. Let's do your favorite segment, and then we'll get back to Paula if we can.
Yes, definitely. We always want to give the opportunity for any of you that are looking for a new pet to adopt. So here is Charlotte with Cam Meow.
Hi, good morning. Today we have Cam Meow. Cam Meow is a domestic short hair, and she's a female and about 2 months old, and she is ready for a new home. We've got lots of cats available and dogs too, so come by and visit us at Enid Animal Control. Yeah.
Kitty, 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 kitty. 7:55, and Sarah just reminded me that we were going to remind everybody else, as she reminds me, about our water conservation effort here in Enid. We're in phase 1, which means you odd and even, your house number odd number, then that's the day that you water, and vice versa with Enid. So thank you for putting that on the screen for us this morning. So we need to talk the Walk to End Alzheimer's, August 3rd. It's all about raising awareness of Alzheimer's, supporting family, and raising money. So Sarah's got, Paula, another question for you. It has to deal with T-shirts and cowbells, I think.
Yes, definitely. And like you said, the event is one of the main reasons why this takes place. It's definitely to raise funds to make sure that there's a lot of studies that can be done. So I think you guys do something to make it a little bit fun. So tell us a little bit about what happens when a certain person or group raise more than 500 or more than 1,000.
Okay, they're individual awards. You do get an event T-shirt when you raise $100, but when you raise $500, you're in our Champions Club and you get a Champions T-shirt. Now, and you also get a cowbell, a small cowbell. And we always say, this walk needs more cowbell. We got to have more cowbell. If you're familiar with that classic Saturday Night Live segment. And then when you raise $1,000, you're in the Grand Champions Club and you get a special Grand Champions T-shirt and a larger cowbell.
I may be able to fit in this one. You know?
Hey, yeah. We want more
Jumbo
cowbell. Yeah. But we need more cowbell at our walks, so we need more champions and grand champions. So strive for that $500 level if possible.
Well, that's a great purple
Yeah,
color.
it's-
Have we talked about the emphasis? You know, we were dressing this morning, and you talked about the purple flower and stuff like that. The purple color, when did that originate? Do you know, Paul?
You know, I'm not really sure when that originated, but I always say that the purple represents the red passion of a fundraiser and the blue calming of our programs department, and we combine them together and we have
Okay.
purple. So,
Okay.
so thank you for wearing your purple.
Well, you're welcome. We certainly appreciate you being here this morning to talk about Alzheimer's. We've got probably 30 seconds. Is there anything that we missed that you need to share?
No,
In 20
just
seconds.
just that registering on the website ahead of time, it helps us to be able to gauge how many flowers to bring, how many T-shirts to have on the ready for everyone bringing their $100 minimum donation, not minimum donation, but a minimum to get the T-shirt. And we also have some fun. We have a fun prize at the walk. So come out. There's a great ceremony. The walk is not long. It's less than a mile. Right? It's right at a mile. We walk right around downtown and if you don't want to walk, at least come to the ceremony.
Paula Huckabaa is our special guest this morning, talking about the Walk to End Alzheimer's coming up on August 3rd. So, all right. Good seeing you again, Sarah.
Good seeing
Time
you.
to go, isn't it?
Good seeing you, Paula.
It's nice to meet you.
Thank you all for joining us this morning, and we hope you have a great day and a great weekend.